Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. Today is Saturday, March 13th, 2021. And we are continuing this month of March with our theme, Open to Possibilities. Our theme for this week is Release and Let Go. So as we do each week, let's start with an opening practice called Affirmative Prayer. It's also known as spiritual mind treatment. And this is a powerful tool and a practical tool that shifts our consciousness so that we are open and available to accept all the good that is already present into our life. It aligns our thoughts with all good. So let's move into today's service with intention, with a reading from the Creative Thought magazine from March 17th, 2014. And just a reminder that spiritual mind treatment is always done in the first person. So I invite you to close your eyes and to take these words as your own, if you so choose. I accept my creative nature. I focus my awareness on the unity of all. God is, I am. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. I identify myself as God identifies me, as its own creation, and therefore creative by my very nature. I accept my creative nature. My thoughts are always creating my experience. Today, I consciously decide to think thoughts that bring me greater life, love, wisdom, dominion, peace, joy, and beauty. I center my awareness on all the good that is available to me through my thoughts. I am a disciplined thinker, thinking thoughts that continuously bring greater good to my life. My creative nature is a joy. Any thoughts that previously limited my creativity are released back into the ethers from which they came. I think more loving, joyous, and peaceful thoughts today, which demonstrates as my ongoing experience. I am so grateful to be this creative thinker as I release these words to law, knowing that is returned fulfilled, and so it is. And that was submitted by Reverend Kathy Kuna from Aurora, Illinois. And just to go back a moment, I'd like to introduce myself for those of you that may not be familiar. My name is Karina Shear, and I am the spiritual director and founding minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. So as we do also each week, we go over our grand purpose. So if you would like to join along with me in saying them, our purpose is to awaken and celebrate diversity and to love and serve our community. We do this by means of our vision, which is to educate and support each other so we can create the life we desire that works for us right now. And we do this with the support of our mission, which is to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. Each week, we also acknowledge and welcome everyone. It doesn't matter what path you have been on in the past, or your size, your color, your age, your sex, or your beliefs. Everyone is welcome here. So thank you for joining us, whether this is your first time or if you have been with us either in person or joined us here via Zoom. Here we teach a philosophy called the Science of Mind, and it's a teaching based on new thought and ancient wisdom. We offer spiritual tools and principles to promote spiritual growth and personal growth. And we've already experienced one of these tools with this morning's opening treatment. And as I said, we also honor diversity in all aspects so that we can see and appreciate the great oneness that already exists everywhere and within everyone. When Dr. Ernest Holmes founded this teaching in the 1920s, he had studied both Eastern and Western spiritual texts to create the science of mind, which focuses on the individual use of thoughts and this powerful thing called our mind. When asked to provide a concise definition of the science of mind teaching, he replied that it is a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to human needs and aspirations. And each week we offer an inspirational message. And normally it's done at a downtown restaurant here in Puerto Vallarta. But for this past year, I have been welcoming you via Zoom into my house. So mi casa es su casa. But once again, we will be opening up to meet in person so that we can continue to have that community feeling and for some discussion afterwards. So we are still looking for a new location, and that will be updated here each week, as well as on our Facebook page and our website. So look forward to noticing those changes for our location. In the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, you can post them here online, wherever it is you are watching, or send me an email and I'll be sure to respond. So this month of March, we have been open to the highest idea of our lives through the spiritual practice of visioning. Opening up to the impress of spirit through visioning allows us to tap into a realm of possibilities much greater than we could even imagine for ourselves alone. Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith says that 100% of spiritual growth is in the letting go. Releasing and letting go of ideas, beliefs, and attachments that no longer serve to create openness and spaciousness. Visioning removes obstacles and impediments in the way of our vision. Releasing and embracing are where our work lies when it comes to manifesting that vision. Our evolutionary vision from the Centers for Spiritual Living Global Vision for this week is this. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustice, or debts, is the norm. And the timeless wisdom from our spiritual science of mind principles, core concepts, and values for this week is this. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. And I'd like to open today's discussion with a quote from Eugene Holden, a registered science of mind practitioner. He says this: fear keeps us hanging on to whatever doesn't work in our lives. It also keeps us from surrendering to our good. Surrender has two sides. We surrender all that does not serve us, and then we surrender to our greatest good. So our topic for today, as I mentioned, is release and let go. And so out of curiosity, I looked up the definitions of both, and this is what I found. Release had 4 definitions that I chose. Number 1, the act of setting free or letting go. Number 2, the act of allowing something to escape. Number 3, a discharge from an obligation or responsibility. And number 4, relief or rescue from sorrow, suffering, or trouble. And this is the definition I found for letting go. Let go is a transitive verb, meaning to set free from bondage or restraint, to relieve from suffering, and to make it available for use. Releasing is about making room for a greater good to be expressed or received, for change to take place, and for healing. Releasing is not based on what we choose to release, but on Spirit's highest ideas of revealing what must be released. Since the all-knowing Spirit within always knows what is necessary to release, our job is to ask Spirit what needs to be released. Our work is to be still and to listen to what I call that God voice within, and to follow its guidance. As Spirit fills our being with the truth, we can relax, release, and let go of all that no longer is needed. In the Science of Mind textbook, Dr. Ernest Soames says this: ignorance stays with us until the day of enlightenment, until our vision toward the Spirit broadens and casts out the image of a no longer useful littleness. The will should hold it in place until the creative genius of the inner life transforms the image of limitation and transmutes it into liberty under law. So let's look at our 3 key points for this week. Number 1, spiritual growth. Number 2, release. And finally, 3, letting go. Spiritual growth. As a matter of law, spiritual growth cannot take place until we are open to learning by catching spirits of ideas about what we need to let go of. Through visioning for what needs to be released, we set the stage for receiving greater good, which includes going beyond our beliefs and attachments and allowing change to take place. As we embrace Spirit's highest ideas and release untruths, we automatically make room for being lifted out of wrong tendencies, discord, and illness. In the Visioning Student Workbook by Ram Venin, it says this. Sorry, advanced too many. There we go. Our vision begins when the mind is monetarily free of everyday thoughts, worry, fear, expectations, criticisms, etc. When the moments grow between each thought, vision begins to appear. Release. While it's not easy to release our troubles or give up the things we resent or regret, we can still ask for help. And then we allow ourselves to listen to Spirit's highest and greatest ideas on what needs to be released and forgiven. With repetition, we'll find that we catch more insights, and this will expand our vision to becoming a way of life. The idea that there's a spiritual solution to every problem is demonstrated when we work to manifest visions for our personal life and for topics beyond the personal. All mistakes are due to ignorance of not knowing, an error. which means to miss the mark. The practice of self-forgiveness is the greatest time-honored spiritual tool for setting us free from ignorance of the past. The daily practice of self-forgiveness, as harmful or damaging thoughts come up, will free us from toxicity building up in our being. This practice of self-forgiveness will greatly help us release and let go of all that is no longer needed. In the Hawaiian tradition, they have a prayer. It's called the Ho'oponopono, and it's a prayer of forgiveness. It's a method that clears the blockage in our thoughts and our cell structure. It cleanses and releases us from thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that separate us from the one universal energy. So basically, it is 4 simple phrases, a 4-step prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Let's repeat that again together. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And of course, you can do this prayer with repetition each time you are letting something go, and do it as often as is necessary. In her book called The Visioning Guide, Ray Jordan, a registered Science of Mind practitioner emeritus, says this: all spiritual work is actually the process of subtraction, the releasing of old ideas about us and false beliefs about life. By releasing old ideas and false beliefs, you welcome insights which reveal how to open to your highest good. Which brings us to our third and final point, letting go. All beginning and more advanced levels of spiritual growth are not about getting or receiving. They're about and dependent on letting go. They're about letting go of that which no longer serves us and releasing the power within that has been blocked. As we begin to see and describe the vision of what needs to be released, we'll find that we catch more insights which will ultimately manifest in our life. Do you remember going to school as a child and the teacher would write on the blackboard or the whiteboard the lesson for the day? And eventually the board would be filled up. And we couldn't receive the next lesson until the board was erased to make room for the new information to be written on for all of us to see. It's the same in life. We must be able to make room for the new information in order to grow spiritually. It's not that we erase our past, but rather that we forgive and release those parts that no longer serve us, allowing more good to enter in. And this is where the growth is. And I like to remind us of the Serenity Prayer from AA. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I remember growing up seeing that prayer hanging on the wall in my mom's kitchen. And it has come into my life as a useful reminder many times, especially the part about knowing the difference. And so today I have a special treat. So keep my fingers crossed I would like to share with you this video of the song I Release and Let Go by Michael Gott. And apparently it is still not performing as I was anticipating. So let me see if I can share the music.
There was a time I thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, gotta let it go. Gotta let it all go. Are you listening? You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release. I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I am free in the Spirit. Do you want to be free? Let me hear you say yes. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Okay, so I will work on the sharing of the videos for next week. But now, in closing, just a recap that the Science of Mind Trinity is summed up in the statement, where your attention goes, energy flows, and manifestation follows. And it is central to these three stages. Number one, putting your conscious attention on asking for Spirit's highest vision of what needs to be released. Number two, keeping your vision on this question long enough to receive the visionary insight on what needs to be released. And 3, manifesting the vision by committing to embrace the consciousness or the conscious and creative mind stages. And our affirmation for today is this: the more I release, the more good I can experience. So now is the time of our mindful giving and financial support of our spiritual home. We rely on your support to continue our center here in Puerto Vallarta so we can continue offering this powerful teaching of the science of mind. We bless the financial gifts that you give today. Every donation is greatly appreciated, whether it's $5 or $50 or the cost of a cup of coffee. So if you would like to join me with this offertory affirmations as you head towards our PayPal button on our website. Let me just put up the website again for you. And that is www.cslpv.org. And on the landing page, you'll see a Donate Now button, and that links directly through to our PayPal. Also, if you would like to send in, or rather instead of, you can send in a paper check and mail that addressed to CSLPV number 403, 2125 Birch Road, Kelowna, BC, V1Y8N1. So now if you'd like to join me in the affirmations. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So just a reminder that if you would like to have a one-on-one connection for a spiritual mind treatment, or if you would like to get together to do some visioning, then please contact with me. Please connect with me. Please contact me. And if you would like to commit to being a member of CSL Puerto Vallarta during this year, or if you would like to join us on our board of trustees, please contact us and we'll be sure to send you the correct forms for those as well. Also, please remember to join me on our Facebook page during these 64 days of peace and nonviolence, which started January 30th and continue until April 3rd. These are the 64 calendar days between the memorial anniversary of the assassinations of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. It's an opportunity for us as individuals and communities to come together, empowering us to envision and help create a culture of peace and nonviolence, one day at a time. We can each be a force for peace and nonviolence. Our words and our actions can create ripple effects all around us and beyond. Peaceful living includes acting with compassion, kindness, consideration, and it also includes standing up against injustice. So once again, thank you for coming and sharing this time together. Namaste.